Hey, it's 9 o'clock, folks. Good evening.
Okay.
So here we are, September board meeting. Welcome, everybody. Looks like we got a good crowd. I think we should go through and do a roll call for attendance. The first area is present, K1UU. Second call area.
Present, N2XT2.
Good evening, Peter. Third call area. Okay, I don't see Keon, not present. Fourth call area.
Present, K9GWS.
Good evening, Gary.
Good evening, Fred.
Fifth call area. Do I
Clay,
see
where's Clay?
I don't see Clay.
Clay, I'll give him a ring.
Okay, well, we'll plug him in for an NP and change it later. How's that? Sixth call area.
He's there.
I can read your lips, Joe. I think I think
muted.
Dean muted you. So, okay, seventh call area. Where did he go?
K7PGL, Randy in for Ron.
There you are. Good evening, Randy. Eighth call area.
Aren't you going to check in?
G8WL.
Good evening, Ralph.
Good evening, Fred.
Ninth call area, Raj.
W9ROG. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Roger. 10th call area. Where'd he go? There's Eric.
AA0HF is present.
Good evening, Eric. And DX, I see Craig. Okay.
I'll mute one of his.
And I think that's me. I got the other computer going too. I'll be back.
Looks like he's got 3 open, but we know he's present. VP, where'd Bob go?
I'm here. 7 p.m. Present.
Good evening, Bob. And Dean. I mean, President.
President is here, and the fifth area just checked in.
There he is, connecting to audio. Let's give him a second.
All right.
Anybody here from the fifth area?
Yes, I'm here. I just got here. WA6W.
We got you. Good evening, Clay. Okay, so I show 12 present, 1 not present, the third call area. All right, moving on. So the first item on the agenda is approving the minutes from the August meeting. And let's, are there any comments or discussion on the minutes? Okay, we'll start with a roll call vote. K1UU approves.
N2XT approves.
Thank you. Third call area, no. Present. Fourth call area.
Approved, K9GWS.
Gary approves. Fifth call area.
Approves.
Hey, there's Clay. I can see you now. Sixth call area. Hey, Dean, you want to unmute Joe?
Where is he? Let's see. Oh, there he is.
He might not be able to hear us.
Your microphone's muted, Joe.
There you
go.
Okay. Sixth area approves.
Excellent. Got you. And where'd Randy go? Seventh call area.
Approved.
Thank you. Eighth call area.
Eighth call area approves. KG8WL.
Okay. Ninth call area.
Approved. W9ROG.
10 land.
10th area approves. AA0HF.
Thank you. DX.
DX approves V3 CMB.
You sound much better, Craig, with one channel operating.
Sorry for the feedback, guys. I was having issues with the other computer.
So your liquid cooled Cray was overdriving. VP.
Yeah, 7 p.m. approved.
Thank you. And President.
Approve.
Okay, so I'm showing 12 approves, 1 not present. Obviously, the motion carries. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the financial report for August, and any discussion on the financial report?
You're not getting seconds on these, Fred.
I'm sorry?
You're not getting a second on these. You
Oh,
haven't gotten one yet.
well, I don't think I need one for attendance. Anybody want to second the minutes motion?
Second it.
I'll
I'll
second.
move.
K9 GWS was the first person I saw. And on the financials, could I get a second on the financials?
Fifth area
KJ
second.
Adol.
Okay, Joe, you won the pilot. KJAO. Okay, no discussion. We're going to move to a roll call vote. K1UU approves.
And
Second call area.
2XTT, and 2XTT approves.
Thank you, Peter. Third call area, not present. Fourth call area.
Approve, K9 GWS.
Fifth call area.
Approves, WA6LBU.
Thank you. Sixth call area.
6th area, KJ Adol, approve.
Thank you. Seventh call area.
A7PGL approved.
Thank you, Randy. Eighth call area.
AG8WL, approve.
Okay, 9 land.
Approved, WNROG.
10th call area.
Approved, AA0HF.
Okay. DX.
Approved for E3 CMB.
Thank you. VP.
Approved, KI7PM.
Thank you. And President.
President approves, KL70R.
Okay, so once again, I count 12 approves, 1 not present, motion carries. The next item on the list was the various committee reports. We got our first report in from Katie and the eyeball team. Read through it. They've got some good goals and stuff, I thought. Any discussion on those reports or questions? Crickets. Okay. Next on the list was motion 9-2022-1 submitted by Gary, K9GWS. Any discussions? Can I get a second for that motion?
Second. And 2XTT.
And 2XTT. Seconds it. So we'll do the roll call vote. The first area.
Point of
What?
order.
What?
You have to get a second before you ask for discussion.
Well, if we had rules and a predetermined thing, we would have to, but we don't. We're just winging it. We're acting important. But are there any discussions?
Yes, I raised a question on the reflector. I still haven't seen that addressed. Did they wish to address it or leave it as is and cause confusion if we pass this?
I comment.
Go.
I would suggest that it's not going to cause that much confusion and we can work it out afterwards. Okay. We're only talking about when a tribal law checks in. Okay. So the finer detail of that just can be worked out. We don't need to vote on this or that part of it. The final part of the tribal, whether it's 2 of them, 1 of them, 3 of them, 5 of them, I don't know. But no, I say we just go ahead and vote on it.
So
if you use that attitude, why do we have to vote on this?
Oh, technically, actually, I'm not sure.
well, here's the way I see it, and please disagree if you disagree. But Gary put forward a motion. There was discussion on the reflector about a motion. If any of that discussion moved Gary to modify his motion, well, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, we got a firm motion up there. If Gary chooses not to change it based on the discussion, I think we're obligated to go ahead and vote on it.
Just making sure there was the opportunity given.
there you go. Any other discussion? Okay, I mean, I was impressed with the discussion. It was factual, it was polite. Lots of members were engaged. To me, that's the perfect outcome. So personally, I'm thrilled. But any other discussion?
Yeah, just a comment is I didn't have to encourage Gary to make this a motion. We could have just made this change, but I asked Gary to make it into a motion so that we could get this discussion going collectively, so that we could work at, because this has been such a big item, over the years, and I just wanted, the discussion, and it worked. That's all I have to say.
I think that's the perfect approach, Dean. I mean, technically, you can just yay verily and make it so, but putting the sticky issues out in front of everybody is probably smart.
Right.
Anybody else? Anything? Okay, let's vote. The first area, and you saw my notes, says nay. Second call area?
N2XTT approves.
Okay, third call area, still not present. Fourth call area?
Approved, K9 GWS.
Fifth call area?
Approved, WA6LBU.
Sixth call area?
Sixth area approves, KJ 8-all.
Seventh call area?
Approved, K7PGL.
Eighth call area?
Eighth call area, nay.
Okay. Ninth call area?
Ninth call area,
Heads or tails, Roger?
defers.
What did you say?
He passes.
Yeah, whatever. Pass.
Abstain.
defers.
Abstain.
Abstain.
Thank you. Abstain.
Okay. 10th call area?
10th call area approves. KA0HF.
Thank you. DX area?
DX approves, V through CMP.
VP
VP approved, 7 p.m.
and President.
President approves, KL70R.
Okay, so the tally goes, we have 1, 2, 3, we have 10 approves, 1 nay, 1 not present, 1 abstain. So the motion carries.
That's not
Excellent.
correct.
Hey, Fred, I think
You had 2 nay.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
yeah,
were 2 nays.
that's it.
at 9 approved, 2 nays, 1 abstained.
So we got 9, 2 noes, 1 not present, 1 abstain. We all agree? Thank you. All right. From where I sit, the process worked, so that's great. Moving on. I think we're at the end of the agenda already. So, anyone want to put a motion to adjourn?
Before,
Wait,
before we do that,
whoa. I've got a discussion item.
Go for it.
And do you have one too, Gary?
Yeah. Mine's regarding the eyeball. I don't know if yours is the same one or not.
Nope, it's not.
Okay.
You're up.
Okay. So we kind of have an open item from last month's meeting regarding the eyeball. And Gene had presented some numbers, and I can't remember if he sent them out to everybody or not, but there were some errors in it. I got them corrected. And where Gene ended up on the eyeball was the eyeball lost $821. Okay. That's before the $1,000 we gave Gene. So if you take the $1,000 into consideration, Gene had a profit of $179, but that includes the $1,000 we gave him. So the question is, and this was sort of the open question, and this is something we need to discuss, but we need to do something for Gene right now. Do we have him send $1,000 back to us, or do we only have him send us the $179, which was the excess that he didn't spend as a part of the $1,000 we sent him?
1,000.
Thank you. This is an issue that's really been disturbing me for the last month, and I would not ask or request or expect any of our members to absorb a personal loss when carrying out club business. And, maybe we need to look at our internal policies on that. Like, I'm not saying give the eyeball coordinator a free hand, let them spend whatever they want. And if they rack up a big loss, the club is going to reimburse them. But for the eyeball coordinator to come up with a budget, and as long as they stick with the budgeted expenses, if there's a loss, then I think the club by all rights should reimburse the eyeball coordinator. So I'm in favor of the club having them pay just, what is it, the $821?
$179, Joe.
Oh, 179. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I support. But if it involves making the broader picture of redefining the eyeball manual, then I think it's something that we really, as a club, should think about. Anyway, over.
AGAWL.
You're muted, Fred.
Yeah, I was muted. Go ahead, Ralph.
Yeah, I had a discussion on more than one occasion with Gene while he was planning the eyeball. And he flat told me that he didn't care whether he made money or not. In fact, he said he was prepared to lose money personally on it. And if you go in to an eyeball planning to lose your own money, you should be allowed to do so. I mean, if you go in planning to spend more than you take in, I'm sure the next one would say, oh, well, you can spend as much as you want and the club's going to reimburse you. I don't think that's the precedent we want to set.
Well, with all due respect, Ralph, I think you overlooked the point that I made that they submit a budget and they only get reimbursed for budgeted expenses, not just whatever they feel like doing.
Well, my 2 cents is we're back to that bigger discussion that the board or somebody needs to undertake. Historically, you'd hear things like, well, the eyeball is only a small includes only a small portion of the club members, therefore we should not use club membership money for the eyeball. I think last year Kirk lost thousands of dollars on the eyeball trying to do a really great job. But then over the course of time, I mean, Clay's eyeball actually contributed to the coffers. I don't know how to answer that question. I think someone ought to put a motion forward to say, let's put an expense out there for either we put a club expense for, what would it be? $821 and approve it and just let it go, get our $179 back, or we need to follow up and get the money back. What do other people think?
Fred, let's see. I'm not going to try to offend Clay on this, but I don't think an eyeball is meant to be a break-even affair as much as possible for the host. If he puts a few dollars in his pockets, he usually has more than that invested in the goodwill of, friends, club members, local club members and such to put it on. But to expect any nickel of profit to come back to the club, I think is wrong. If it should go back to anyone, it should go back to the ones who paid to go. And that can usually be done with, gift certificates to McDonald's or, something like that anybody can use. I don't know where it started it's an eyeball. Well, the club's going to make money. And, it's an eyeball. Well, we lost money. Now we got to pay. In fact, I think if anything, we should just forget about even offering the $1,000 advance. $1,000 isn't that much anymore anyway. Why even, have the we're going to send a check for $1,000. I can go to the bank and grab $1,000 if I need it. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one in the organization that could do that. And I'm thinking that someone that's volunteering to the eyeball host is probably in a situation where that thousand, one way or another, isn't going to break them, or they wouldn't do it to start with. Anyway, that's enough for me for now.
Yes. Any other discussion?
I've got one more item. Just one last comment is Gene hasn't asked us for any, he hasn't asked the club for anything as a result of the eyeball. He's looking for direction, and we'll put something together and we'll bring it to the board next month. And I'll talk to Gene and let him know if he just wait another month, we'll figure out what we're going to do. But I haven't gotten a request for either or, you know. So yeah, the last item I have also that
Sorry, Dean, are you changing topics?
I am.
Okay, so before you move on, this is a tough one, guys. And Fred, you're right, and we've talked about this before, and I think we really need to get a group together and determine, you know, is it a club function? Is it an individual function? You know, who pays what, how it goes. However, you know, to expect somebody to host an eyeball that potentially could lose money out of their pocket, and I just don't go with that. So I mean, for this round, I would suggest that you know, an expense goes in and he only returns the 189 or whatever it is dollars, and so we get worked out for next year. But that's just my thought. I just don't see a club member doing all that time, all that effort to get us together representing the club, and then potentially lose money out of your pocket.
So I have a group of people, an eyeball committee, if you want to call it, working, and what they're working on is they're trying to get the a portion of the eyeball guidelines updated so that a potential host for the 2023 can have a little more clarity of things, and things like you know, doing some templates and doing some other kinds of things to kind of make it easy. What you're talking about is a part 2 to it, and I was going to get this part 1 done before we try to tackle the part 2, because I really think I really think that part of that discussion is we also need to include the bureau as well. You know, the bureaus. I mean, but I that's all I can say. I think if we're going to tackle this problem, I think we need to tackle it in terms of monies with a club, and it's not just something really easy when you start talking about moving money in and out of the treasury. So
Gonna be tough.
Roger, go ahead.
Well, I know I discussed this with several people at the eyeball. A few years back, I was going to host an eyeball. I got prices for everything. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to bust my ass doing this and then possibly lose money doing it on top of it. I don't think so. So if that is a possibility for an eyeball host to use money out of his pocket to do something for the club, it's going to be very far and few people who are going to want to do that, as far as I'm concerned. Secondly, so Dean, you're going to get something together and do what?
I'm going to put a group together that can solve this bigger problem, because the bigger problem basically, you know, things like club liability and all that will factor into it.
Right. No, but
so we need to address that in a bigger picture. But the priority right now is to figure out and find an eyeball host for 2023, and part of that will be is to update some of the guidelines so that whoever is going to bid on it we'll have a little bit better clarity of what we expect and perhaps what is going to happen at the eyeball kind of a thing.
But
That's
you
all.
said right, but you said in
Not
reference-
requirement, not necessarily requirements.
No.
Okay.
So no, you said you were gonna get something together soon to answer Gene's question about what's gonna happen. What are you gonna do here?
I'm going to call. I mean, I'm going to ask Gene what he wants to do and what we've talked about, and then bring it back to the board for approval. Because if because it involves money, I think we need to say hey or nay.
Oh, yeah, right. I agree. But
Right.
so this motion is going to be solely on what you talked to Gene about.
This motion
what?
is to wrap up the 2022
Right.
eyeball.
Yeah, right.
That's all it is. Right.
That's a yes. Whatever Gene says is what you're going to do, right?
Don't know yet. I got to
Well,
talk to Gene.
Okay.
There are only two options. He either
Right.
says it's $1,000 or $179.
Right.
Those are the two options, right?
Right.
So it's really clear. I just wanted to say, I agree with others. I don't think we can ask the eyeball host to come out of pocket. It's hard enough to find an eyeball host, right? To come out of pocket. However, that doesn't mean you don't hold them accountable for the money that they spend. And I think there's a way to do that where you have a budget on expenses that they're going to spend that they have to live within. The big risk is how many people show up. And if they put this all together, stay within budget, and not enough people show up, then that's not really their fault, right? And there can be lots of things that happen. So anyhow, I just thought I'd make that comment, and I think in my mind that the approach we're going to take to this going forward is that we have a budget submitted, a line item budget for whatever the expenses are, and there'll be an assumption, and it should be a break-even budget, and there will be assumption on how many people are going to attend, which that has to be reasonable. And if not enough people attend, it's going to lose money.
And I think the other thing too is and we talked about this last year, is that the priority of the eyeball is a get together of club members and not who's going to win the raffle, because it seems like the raffle prices just keep going up and up and up in terms of cost. So and I'm not faulting Gene, because I think Gene budgeted an ample amount of money for eyeball prizes, but I think he exceeded that, but I don't know. So okay.
Couple more, if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay. One, you saw the prizes that are given away there at the eyeball. If that Yaesu transceiver hadn't been there, there'd have still been a lot of people going away happy with stuff they did win. Or he could have just downsized from that to a lower priced something. Other thing I think we need to at least keep in mind is, technically, if you want to look at the Florida statute that we're incorporated under, we're not allowed to loan money to individuals of the club. Technically, we're in violation of that. Is Florida going to come looking for us and say, point the finger at us and do something about it? Probably not. But just to err on the side of caution, or just to show the kind of people we are, I don't think we should be doing it. Now, maybe there's another way to do it other than, of course, whether it's a loan or an advance, or just whether there's some, something in the wording that gets us off. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, just something I thought we might want to be thinking about. And Roger seemed to have something.
Yep.
Rent.
Well, that's really easy. Don't loan it. Give it to the eyeball host for seed money to start the eyeball. Don't expect it back. But if they want to give us money back, if they made a profit, that's fine. Just don't loan it to them. give it to them outright to start the eyeball.
So we're going to collect money. We're going to collect money from 800 people and then spend it on 50 that are going to the eyeball.
What?
There are 800. There's hundreds of contributing members of our club.
Okay.
And only a small percentage go to the eyeball.
Okay, but every one of our members is eligible to go. If they don't go,
I'm just being a devil's advocate, Roger. I agree with you 100%.
That's fine.
So it's all part of the discussion.
Right.
Quite frankly, I've been talking about it for years.
That's right.
I'm going to let that one go.
And it is a discussion we should have. And Roger, absolutely. Everybody's eligible to go. Everybody, all those 800 members are eligible to check in too. But I don't see, all of them checking. But this is the discussion we need to have. And personally, Dean, when you go talk to Miles or Gene, he shouldn't have to pay, or just give us back 179 in my mind.
Yep. Okay. Any more discussion about this? My last item is that this month I am going to put together the formalization of the membership or the member communications team and make it an actual standing committee. I'll be working with Gary trying to define some criteria so that we can document it, some objectives, goals and things like that. I mean, it's not going to be wordy, but just, we're going to formalize it because how long have you been at it, Gary? 2.5 years, 3 years, maybe?
About 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. And it is successful. It is, we're getting good things out of the group and we're getting to know more about the stats of who's checking in and things like that we didn't know before. And, we have, things like August, we had 5 new members. I mean, in 1 month, and we've got, these metrics are really kind of helping us and we're communicating better. We're getting more new check-ins to our nets. And I will be working with him and hopefully we'll get that. I'm hoping at the next board meeting so that the board can approve it, because I think that it is one of those things that we need to continue it. So
are you suggesting, Dean, that you're going to convert this from a presidential committee, which has the requirements of communicating once a month, to a club committee like the awards committee?
Correct.
Okay, so is that going to involve bylaws and all that cool stuff?
No, yeah. If I look at the bylaws, it's basically I need the board approval to make it into, to appoint a committee chairman. And I'll go back and look at the bylaws again, but I don't see anywhere in the bylaws or the Constitution that if I form a standing committee that I do anything other than bring it to. I want to bring it to the board because I want the board's involvement with it. I don't want to just do it, kind of a thing. So that was.
So what's going to be different tomorrow? I mean, it's going to be a presidential committee today or a presidential committee tomorrow?
It'll have structure.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll have a charter.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Or without.
And things like I mean, we might say that it would be limited to a committee chair plus 4 members, whatever. I just don't know. And like I said, all I'm trying to say is that I want to formalize it because I want to recognize the fact that it is something that is beneficial to the club. And I know that I keep loading Gary down with stuff and I keep loading down Matt with stuff. But we're moving ahead, and a lot of it has to do with, like I said, the communications team. So,
okay. Well, I think it's great, Dean. Yeah. My question revolves around. Okay, so we're going to have a charter, and we're going to have, a formal rules, and we're going to have a vote on it. but none of our record keeping keeps track of things like that. It keeps track of bylaws and stuff. So,
But what we do is we actually move it to the leadership section of our like the website, which is not, it's not there right now.
but the website is an unofficial anyway. Sounds great. Any other comments on that?
I'm done.
Okay. Okay.
And make a motion, we adjourn.
Thank you, Peter. Any objections?
Fourth.
Okay. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Good seeing you again.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.